Hey, what's up? I'm Justin. Welcome to 65 Drums. If you want to keep on top of everything Edrum related, hit that subscribe and bell icon so you don't miss any of the new videos. So I recently got a chance to play this Behringer drum set right here. It's the Behringer XD8USB 8-piece electronic drum set. A lot of people over the years have asked me about different Behringer electronic drum sets, wanting to know my opinion on them. And unfortunately, I've never gotten to play one, but I'm glad I finally got to play one because now I know the whole shtick and whether or not Behringer electronic drum sets are worth considering. Now, before we go any further in the video, let me just say I do not have any playing footage in this video because I didn't have a way to record myself when I got a chance to try it out. If you want to see some playing examples and hear how it sounds, I linked a great video in the description below, so go check that out after you watch this one. So let's talk about the specs and then whether or not this drum set's actually worth buying. So inside of the drum module, you get 123 studio-grade drum, cymbal, and percussion sounds to play with. Now, unfortunately, that's not true. These aren't studio-grade sounds. We all know that. There's no possible way to get studio-grade sounds out of a $300 electronic drum set. They're somewhere around average or below average in sound quality, in my opinion. You can find different electronic drum sets for the same price that sound a tad better. You get 10 factory preset kits inside and then 5 that you can customize. It's got an audio output so you can plug this into a speaker or into a PA system or into a mixer. It also has the headphone jack, obviously, USB MIDI so you can use this with drum software if you want to go that route. And also it has a mix import so you can plug in your phone and play along to whatever music you want. The toms and the snare are all 8 inches across and all 3 cymbals are 12 inches across. As you can hear, because of the rubber that they selected for these pads, they sound a little bit more muted, a little bit lower in the tone. Not drastically, but that's one pro in its favor. Also, the cymbals are 12 inches across versus 10 inches across for the Alesis Nitro. And it does have a kick drum tower. Actually, the Alesis Nitro and this one both share the exact same kick drum tower. If you look really closely, you can see that they're clearly the exact same thing. And that brings me to a point I want to make about this whole drum set. These are all pads that Alesis drum sets used to use just a couple years ago. Because it's a well-known fact that there's a company out there called Medeli. They make a lot of low-cost electronic drum pads and just companies rebrand them. Like Simmons takes a lot of Medeli pads and they rebrand them as Simmons drum sets. You've seen this with Cat Percussion, you've seen this with Alesis. And there were a couple of pads that they used to make, including these ones that you see on the Behringer drum set that Alesis used to use. In fact, there was an Alesis drum set right next to this Behringer when I was playing. I think it was the Alesis Burst. I can't quite remember the name off the top of my head. But it's using the exact same snare pad, except it's got a black coat of paint instead of a silver coat of paint. So all these pads, including the drum rack, as you can see, the drum rack between both these kits are identical as well. They're all just Medeli stuff. So it's going to be very similar to Alesis drum sets from 2 or 3 years ago. Now, what really confuses me about this drum set is the price. This thing costs brand new $330, and I don't see why they've priced themselves above every other electronic drum set at $300. Yes, the cymbals are 2 inches larger, and they say they're dual zone. I tried them out, and they didn't seem dual zone on the set I was playing, but let's just say they're dual zone. It's still not worth the extra money. The Alesis Nitro actually has 3 times as many sounds as this thing, and it just doesn't seem like that amazing of a drum set. I'm not going to say the Alesis Nitro is the most amazing drum set of all time, but I feel like that is a better drum set. This one isn't as good, and it costs $30 more. So to sum it all up, here are my overall impressions of this drum set. I like that it has a kick drum tower. A lot of electronic drum sets in this price category do not have a kick drum tower, so I am a fan of that. I don't think there are enough sounds inside of the drum module. The Alesis Nitro has almost like 3 times as many sounds inside of it. And I wish it had MIDI in and out. It's got USB MIDI, but it doesn't have MIDI in and out. And I wish it had extra inputs for extra pads, like the Alesis Nitro, but this one doesn't have that. And to top it all off, it's an extra $30 over the price of the competition. So in my view, this drum set really isn't worth your money. And if you have to spend $300 and you have to buy something brand new, then I would pick up the Alesis Nitro over this drum set. And by the way, I just want to put this at the end of the video. Even though I'm saying buy the Alesis Nitro, if you can, go buy a used Yamaha or Roland drum set for $300 versus buying a brand new Alesis Nitro for $300. If you look on the Facebook Marketplace side of that app, if you look at Craigslist, or if you look at any used place like that, you can always find used electronic drum sets from like Roland or Yamaha. You can find a quality, really cheap electronic drum set that will probably last you a little bit longer versus buying from one of these companies that just sources all their pads from Medeli. So that's just my take on it. I'd rather buy a used version of a drum set from a nice company for $300 versus buying a brand new drum set for $300. Just my take on this. Anyway, let me know if you guys have played this drum set or if you own it. Let me know what you guys think about it, and I will see you guys in a few.